Hey guys, hope you are going well. Penny Dreadful is back, season 3, episode 1, When Tennyson Died. I am so glad to have this show back on air. It feels like it's been away for so long, and yeah, it's pretty much one of my favorite shows of all time. I just love it. I love this genre, I love the storytelling, I love the visuals, and I love Eva Green. I really can't tell you. I feel like because I watch this show by myself, I feel like if I was watching it with a person or with a friend on the couch, then when the episode would finish, you know, get a cup of tea, turn the lights on, and like have a 10-minute discussion with the friend sitting next to me. But because I watch this by myself, that is why I'm here talking about it with you guys, because I just want to talk about it. So without further ado, grab your cup of tea and let's get chatting. So at the end of last season, when all our characters went their separate ways, it was Vanessa who was left by herself in the darkness of the big old mansion of Sir Malcolm, rattling around the hallways, you know, wallowing in her own loneliness and sort of emptiness, with Ethan having made the choice to leave her. So here we go, we pick up this first episode was in the mansion, and judging by the amount of dust and decay and spiderwebs and dishes having piled up, Vanessa has just shut herself away from the world. It seems like she doesn't even, it's almost like she's lost the ability to speak. She hasn't made sounds or used her voice in so long that by the time Ferdinand Lyle bangs down the door and demands to come in and speak to her and reach out to her, she doesn't even say anything to him. She's communicating to him with her eyes, but she doesn't actually speak. In that entire scene, it is really just so powerful. It's almost like she just can't speak. Of course, this first episode is going to be laying the groundwork. Where are all our key characters at? Because they've all been flung all around the world. So Malcolm went to Africa to bury Sembene, and that's where he is currently. Ethan, of course, has gone to America, not out of choice. He's been arrested and expedited to America, and he has in tow Inspector Rusk by his side, not letting him out of his sight. I felt a real Western vibe as we were on the train carriage and all those, you know, cowboy gunslingers were there. In fact, that scene on the train with Ethan being, I want to say rescued, but I don't really think that's quite the right term, because Ethan himself doesn't seem to feel like he's been rescued, but kidnapped or just sort of taken on behalf or on request of his father, who has sent his henchmen to take Ethan. But that scene on the train carriage with all those guns, that was a really like spike. That was a big spike of violence, and as the gunshots were going off and people were getting blown away in the face, you know when someone's about to get shot at in the face and I sort of thought, oh, the camera's gonna sort of show something else and we'll just hear the gunshot. Nope, you're gonna full on see someone get shot in the face. Hats off to you, Penny Dreadful. That was gory. As for the most anticipated new arrival of this season, for me, that is definitely Dr. Jekyll, who comes to visit his old friend and colleague, Dr. Frankenstein, who is not doing so hot. One of the biggest key points of the season will be when Dr. Jekyll finally makes a transformation and we get to see him as Dr. Hyde. That will be so awesomely cool, but I'm sure the show will make us wait, you know, till at least the halfway point of the season, or probably further, just like they made us wait with Ethan when he transformed to the wolf for the first time. They made us wait so long for that. Another key character we were introduced to that will play a big part of this season is the psychiatrist, or the doctor, Dr. Seward. Dr. Seward or Dr. Seward? I didn't quite catch how to pronounce her name, but played by Patti LuPone, who is the same actress who played the Cutwife in last season, season 2. So she's back in a completely different role this season as Dr. Seward. Also, another doctor on the scene is the zoologist, Dr. Sweet, and that was such a sweet moment between him and Vanessa in the museum, which was an amazing setting, an amazing production setting. It looked so cool with all those taxidermy animals and bones hanging from the ceiling and everything. I thought that was really, really cool. So Vanessa, you could see a light come into her eyes as she was talking with Dr. Sweet, and he was off in his own world on a tangent, you know, and his curiosity for the world and his inquisitiveness really ignited some sort of sense of life within her. You could see her the way she looked at him, and that was just a really nice moment. I think that there's going to be the chemistry there from her side, you know, well, obviously from her side was undeniable, and I think there's going to be some sort of relationship between the two of them. I hope, because, you know, she's had her heart broken by Ethan, whether she's gonna admit that or not. Like, he broke her heart, so to see her be interested, even if it's just a flicker of interest or curious about someone else, I am all for that. The only key characters we didn't see at all this episode, because we were kind of doing the rounds, you know, scene by scene, we were working through all our key cast, and you would think that that would feel quite disjointed, but I think that the way this show does its writing is so amazing that even though the scenes are all so separate, we're in all different corners of the world, just, I don't know, I think it flows really seamlessly. So the only characters we didn't see were Dorian Gray and Lily. I have no idea what's been going on with them. I was hoping that they were going to unite and be a force to be reckoned with, so we will see what is going on with them hopefully next episode. And of course, to round off the end of this episode, we got to see some vampire action in full swing, and it was very, very chilling. To be straight up honest, I probably didn't need to hear the final sentence of the entire episode, the sentence that I think happened over black. So after that really intense, you know, close-up face scene of what's his name, the secretary, who's now going to be acting as a double agent and, you know, informing on Vanessa's progress at the facility to the new enemy and the new villain for this season, I could have done without the final sentence. Do you remember what the sentence was? The sentence was, "My name is Dracula," and I didn't need to hear that. I kind of thought that was the one point where it was like, that was a little bit too much information. Like, I obviously pieced that together, but less is more, and I would have preferred if he kind of didn't name himself and it was implied in every way, shape or form as we went on throughout the season and throughout the episodes, and then, you know, it was actually probably stated later on. In fact, this feels like to me the earliest that we've gotten our key villain, like our key obstacle for the season. I know that last season with Madame Carly, that didn't happen till, I feel like well into episode 4 or 5. I can't even remember now, but I feel like it took so long for Madame Carly to really emerge as the #1 villain. So the fact that Dracula is here just like naming himself, being like, "I am Dracula" at the end of the first episode, it is really making it very clear that that is going to be our new enemy, and that is going to be what we're spending this season working on. He is going to be coming after Vanessa with everything he has, and I suppose it's all going to snowball into a climactic finale with them facing off. Hopefully, as we go, more and more of our key characters will come back to the mansion one by one. I hope they return, and eventually we have a united front, and I'm sure that, well, that's my prediction, that that's how the season will sort of set itself up to start returning our key characters back to the home base. But yeah, that's it. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Thank you for letting me ramble on my thoughts for what I think we are going to be seeing later on in this season. I really enjoyed this first episode. You know, I really thought it was very strong, and I'm so glad to have this show back on air. Guys, do let me know what you thought of this first episode. Let's get chatting. Let's get stuck into it and start sort of dissecting it with our theories and our predictions and things we liked, things we didn't like, things that we're hoping to see next. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.